Ah, man. Alright. Everybody just like pretend that the intro I gave last game was actually the intro for this game, because this guy is in fact legendary. This guy's like legit legend. Effort. The alien. Some guy said the yawning is killing him. Is that bad? Should I stop yawning? I don't want any of my viewers to die on me. But, alright, effort. And it's gonna be Shy, aka Sauce Cow. I will call him Shy because I think it sounds nicer than Sauce Cow. And that means it's gonna be a ZVP here as our third Brutal game. So, Shy is not a bad player by any means. He's kind of a middling Protoss player. Nothing too special, but does get played quite a bit actually by stars. So definitely on their like first string of players. Yeah, right. Yeah. But Effort on the other hand is a OSL champion, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult for Shy. Just a little bit. Yeah! What just happened? Why are we back in this view? Did they like do the wrong camera? Wait a minute. I'm so confused. Are we like in... Did we just go back in time or something? What's going on right now? Wait. What just happened? Alright. Whatever. We're in the game now. So, at the top left corner of the map, as the blue Zerg, we will have Effort playing for CJ Antis. And in the top right is the red Protoss. We will have Sauce Cow, aka Shy, playing for Woongjan Stars. This is going to be a PvZ on Electric Circuit, which is always a very interesting map for PvZ. We actually saw some of the best PvZs of last season on this map. Just because of that back door lends to a lot of funky games. I think this season, wait a minute, actually was that game where Effort busted some other Protoss on this map? Was that actually this season or was that last season? I can't actually remember. That was the game where like my stream kept buffering, so we saw like three we basically, like the entire game we saw like 3 screenshots of important moments and then like that was it. Like I just casted from like still images. I actually just can't remember if that was last season or this season. Need more RAM in my brain. I think that's the answer here. Anyway, looks like we are gonna have, is that a gateway? Ooh, gateway. Okay, so what he's gonna do here is he's gonna just do 1 gateway at his natural and put on some early pressure. Or he's going to try to. Basically, this kind of build only works on maps where you can get a very link-tight wall in with a pylon, gateway, and forge. What he's going to do here, I believe, is put the forge later on to the bottom right of the gateway, so it'll be tight everywhere except between the pylon and the gateway, so he can block it with 1 zealot against Zerglings and then build cannons behind. So the idea behind this build is that if your opponent goes for a 12 hatch, which is the most common thing to do in a ZVP, you can put a lot of pressure on with early zealots rallied from that gateway. Whereas if he goes for a faster pool, then you can just play more defensively, just, you know, make your forge, make your cannon behind the wall, and because you have a tight wall, you're not afraid of the Zerglings, and then you just expand behind it. So even though your expansion would be a little bit later than if you just went for a forge first or a nexus first, having the gateway obviously is more flexible because if he goes for 12 hatch, which is very likely, then you can kind of throw a wrench into his plans. Unfortunately for Shy, it is in fact, I believe it was an overpull from Effort, and this is going to get scouted second here. Interesting scout pattern, by the way, of that probe. I actually should have mentioned this earlier. If you look at the minimap, he went to the 3 o'clock first to basically look for an overlord. Because if effort spawned at the bottom right, he would almost certainly send the overlord to the top right to scout the closer natural. So he set the probe halfway, was like, okay, there's no overlord here, so my opponent's probably not in the bottom right. So then he went immediately to the bottom left instead, which just saves you a little bit of extra time on that probe scout. And very intelligently hiding a zealot here, actually. Very good stuff. But it looks like that wall actually has 2 gaps in it, so it's going to require 2 zealots to block, which is less than ideal. But I mean, it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world. And it looks like Effort actually didn't make all 6 lings. He's got 1 ling chasing the probe, 2 lings here with the zealot. He's got to be a little bit careful about this. Looks like he made a couple more lings here. So the zealot's probably just going to hold position behind this mineral line in that obnoxious position there, where like only 1 ling can hit it at a time. And the probe's also just going to kind of run around here. Let's see actually how good Effort's micro is. I don't think you can even micro back your lings here, because let's get stuck. Yeah, as you can see, he tries to pull back the damaged lings, but then he's going to keep getting stuck on each other. So Zealot does take down 2 lings. Not really worth it for a Zealot, but he did force a couple more lings to be built from Effort, so I think it's not too bad. Meanwhile, he has gotten his own Nexus up and the Forge as well, and just going to block himself in there. Looks like, oh, look at that! Oh, he might get in as well. Wow, Effort, very nicely done there. Just, you know, forcing the probe away with that one Zergling, manages to run in. He's not going to do any significant damage there, but he will get a perfect scout off and probably keep that Zergling alive for a while. Zealots and probes will not be able to catch it, and my stream will not be able to catch up to anything. Yeah, so yeah, it looked like Hero, or sorry, what's his name? Shy had that probe on hold position with the Zealot. But then he had to move it before the cannon was finished. Anyway, we do see a lair on the way. We do see the 3rd base at the back mineral only for Effort. Very standard on this map to get that safe back mineral only expansion. And not too much coming out of the Protoss either. It looks like Stargate is on the way. Very standard. Zergling is going to see that. That Zergling is super annoying here. That Zealot's going to chase it, but as I said, you know, no real way for him to catch it as long as Effort is paying attention, and I just assume someone of Effort's caliber will not allow that Zergling to die until there's at least a Dragoon out. So, let's see, alright, Effort looks like he's going to go for the Spire. Now, is it going to be for Mutas or just for Scourge? I would imagine just for Scourge right now. He hasn't taken his natural gas. He obviously doesn't have a gas at his 3rd at the mineral only, so he's still on 1 gas. Can't really afford Mutalisks. Just going to get those anti-Corsair Scourge, and probably follow it up with Hydras and a relatively quick 4th. That is what we've been seeing on this map. Just because the mineral only is not quite as useful of an expansion as like a proper full expansion, but it is much safer to take, and also you get the extra mineral income. So Zergs will go like fast Hydras, or you can go faster Hydras and a faster 4th on this map, just from the mineral boost, and it makes good sense. And everything is standard in the Protoss base. Stargate Citadel. Gonna get a Templar Archives, get some High Templars out, all that good jazz. Meanwhile, Zealot has managed to finally kill that Zergling in the main base. But see, the Zergling already saw everything that it needed to. It looks like we have 2 macro hatches being added in Effort's main. Interestingly, not using those to SimCity, it is natural. And it's quite... it's partly because of how or partly because he's taken the safe 3rd in his back. Normally what you see on other maps is like Zergs will take another natural as their 3rd, and then you need to use those 2 hatcheries to like SimCity, your natural and your 3rd, because otherwise you're very spread out and you're, you know, in danger of having Zealots run in and just like kill everything. But in this case, you know, he saw the fast Stargate anyway, so he knows there's no, you know, +1 speed law timing, and since he's got these 3 protected bases, I guess he doesn't actually need to SimCity that much. And I think that just having those 2 hatches there will make the macro a little bit easier. Will make it so his units don't like get stuck behind a wall or something. So doesn't want to make that wall if he doesn't have to. And wow, actually, did he just get a Corsair there? Is that what just happened? I think he just got a Corsair there. I think from Shy's... I'm not 100% sure, but I think from Shy's facial expression, he definitely got a Corsair there, even though he was over the cannons. Wasn't paying attention to that one Corsair. Should really not be losing those. And it looks like he is continuing Corsair production, so perhaps going to go I don't know if he's getting +1 or not, or if he's trapping a probe. Can we actually... Okay, he's got 3 Corsairs again, so yeah, it looks like he is gonna go for some Corsair shenanigans. Meanwhile, the Zealot's moving out, but even though there's no wall in, there's a second Sunken on the way and some Hydras out already to help block, so I don't think those Zealots will be able to do anything here. The Corsair speed loss strategy, pretty popular nowadays. Actually, we're seeing Corsairs almost every PvZ now, because otherwise it's just like super annoying to deal with Mutalisks. So that is that. Meanwhile, Effort's just gonna wait a little bit, get a few more Hydras, wait for his Hydra upgrades, and then he's probably gonna poke out, start putting some pressure back on the Protoss. That is actually a decent number of Hydras already. You can probably move out if he wants. Just has to be a little bit careful about the Corsairs. Like, if he moves out too far with his Hydralisk, and whoa, what is this? Looks like a Zergling run by into the main. 4 Zerglings will get in here. Now, there's probably a cannon in the main mineral line. Is there a cannon in the main mineral line? Oh, looks like even if there is, he's going to at least be annoying and take down the probe of the back mineral only there. Meanwhile, 1DT chasing these Hydras as they move across the map. A couple more emergency cannons going down here. There is 1 High Templar. I don't know if it has Storm yet. But, see, the one thing that slightly concerns me is if the Hydras move out too far and the Corsairs go around the back and just, like, start taking out all the Overlords, that could be a little bit risky. And, sorry about this, guys. See, this is why I usually try to find some other stream sources rather than the VLC, since it seems to be fairly unreliable. But, anyway, looks like we didn't miss anything too serious. 4th base established now. 4 Effort at the 12. Some Lurkers breaking down those back power generators. It looks like Sean managed to get rid of those Zerglings in his main base, and is now taking his back mineral only. Now, the Corsairs see that this is being broken down. There's also a pylon there on the high ground. It is a fairly narrow path back there. I think if he needs to buy time, he can just build a few more pylons. But that is definitely something to be concerned about. He is still going for a counter drop here. I feel like that's probably a DT drop into the main base. He's going to use his Corsairs to clear the Overlords in the main, and then send those DTs in and try and do a ton of damage. Looks like he actually might do it like a double elevator here. Send Zealots in as well as a DT. That could be quite effective. And he does have the cannons at his back mineral only to protect it. So, well, is this drop going to do any damage? There we go. There's the elevator. I'm a little bit surprised that Effort actually doesn't have anything spotting over here. I mean, I guess he can't really have anything. Even if you put an Overlord there, the Corsairs would just get rid of it. And it looks like the Corsairs are actually distracting him at the natural, kind of drawing attention away from the fact that there is this drop going down in the back here. This could be extremely effective. I don't know if there's a Spore Colony in the main, but look at this. See, he's going to use the Zealots to go into the middle only, and then use the DT to kill drones at the main, hopefully distracting Effort with those Zealots so he doesn't pay attention to his main base. Effort, he's sending all his links to save his hatchery. I don't know if he'll save the hatchery. It looks like he's actually not going to target down the hatchery, but now the DT going after the drones. 9 kills on that Dark Templar, presumably all drone kills. Effort does send some Hydras to go take care of it, but this drop has definitely done some nice damage here. Although he doesn't get the back hatchery there, he's killed a lot of Lings with those Zealots, and he's killed a lot of drones, more crucially, with the Dark Templar. So a nice little multi-pronged attack there from Shy. Looks like he's actually a little bit scared, building more cannons at his back mineral only there. Not 100% sure if that's necessary, but now he's moving out with a nice Dragoon Templar force, very strong composition, adding on more gateways as well. But Dragoon Templar, it's a little bit expensive gas-wise, so on 2 gas you actually can't get that many units. He is going to have to supplement this with a good number of Zealots as well from his mineral only. Might also think about taking that 3 o'clock base relatively soon here. Looks like just trying to clear out these Lurkers in the back first. And, oh, there we go. It's a good thing he cleared those out, by the way. If he just like left that 1 Lurker there, later on when he tries to transfer probes from that mineral only to like his 4th, they would have ran over that Lurker and probably died. So, you know, you don't want to leave random Lurkers running around near your mineral lines. Anyway, so the Protoss Army is going to move out. As I said, it's not particularly big or scary right now. I mean, he did spend a lot of resources on those Corsairs. He did lose a handful of units on that drop as well. So a relatively small army size. I actually feel like he shouldn't be attacking here. See, he's expanding to the 9 o'clock as well, so some of his units are over there, and you know that is a very expensive unit composition to just lose at this point in the game. Like, look at that. That's like a control group of Dragoons and 3 High Templar. That could easily get surrounded by Speedlings and taken down if he's not careful. So, alright, looks like now he's regrouped all his units here. Just wanted to make sure that his 4th base would be secure. Looks like 1-1 actually done on the Zerglings. Not sure what the upgrades of the Protoss are. Probably 2-0, maybe? Just gonna guess. Meanwhile, some Zerglings running around the side again. Effort doing a good job, going to keep counterattacking that fourth, but Shy also doing an excellent job of sending in more reinforcements there to just keep it safe. I'm judging all this by on the mini-map, by the way. Yeah, it looks like it's all good at the fourth base there. The cannons finish up as well, so that's going to get up safely. And Effort, meanwhile, is trying to take a base at the bottom left. The Protoss army's moved down there, but it's quite far away. He's kind of moving out of position. Looks like he's actually going to split up his army here. Going to bring, you know, about 2/3 of the army back and just let 1/3 of the army. Probably he just let all the zealots go down to the bottom left to kill it, because obviously speed lots are quite fast. They can run back quickly as well. Meanwhile, a lot of Zerglings flooding in here though, and there's no High Templar to help storm all these Lings. They do run into range of the cannons. So, oh man, he might try to focus down the High Templar. One High Templar goes down. Another High Templar will go down. He's probably going to get the third one as well. Oh man, huge win for Effort right there. I mean, his Lings, even though he's lost a lot of Lings, those are very cheap, very expendable. And to grab those 3 High Templars, I think is absolutely worth it. It looks like he does have the Adrenal Glands upgrade on those Lings, so they're doing a ton of damage here. And they're just like, they're throwaway units. If you trade, you know, 20 Lings for a couple of High Templar, that is absolutely worth it. Meanwhile, the bottom left base though does look like it got cancelled or something. It's not there anymore. Some lurkers are morphing. Looks like it was actually killed. It was not cancelled. It's a little bit surprising. I guess Effort was too focused on the Ling micro, so you know, wasting a bit of money there. He's also a little bit behind on supply, but that's fairly standard for a ZVP. He's about well, he's about 30 supply behind right now. That's not too bad, especially given that he seems to be staying on these low cost units, these tier 1 Zerglings, mass Zerglings, and Hydras. He does have some Defilers out now. And that is a very popular style nowadays. And ooh, nice Plague on the Protoss units. Unfortunately, the Protoss is red, so it's a little bit hard to see. But a lot of those units do get plagued by the Defiler. And are those Dragoons going to target it? I thought those Dragoons would have tried to snipe that Defiler. That would have been quite useful. But instead, the Protoss army is going to have to back up here. And you know, it's quite actually a Dragoon-heavy composition for the Protoss. So those Dark Swarms are really gonna hurt those. Shy needs to start switching into like Sayle Archons with like Reaper support. If he wants to deal with this army composition. He's got enough Dragoons now. And what was I going to say? Oh yes, this style of playing, you know, mass tier 1 units, Hydra Ling, supported by Defilers, is actually quite popular in late game ZVP nowadays. You know, before people used to always just like go for Ultras or whatever, like Ultra Ling, which is also a very effective unit composition, but it seems that pro gamers are favoring more and more this very cheap style of play. And it is very strong as well. Crack things are so ridiculously cost efficient, and if you have something like, you know, if you just support them with a Dark Swarm, it's so amazing. But it looks like a bit of a mistimed drop here. Ran in with some Lings a little bit ahead of the drop, but he does get some Dark Swarms down. But there are Zealots here coming in to reinforce, and some good Storms as well by Shy is going to keep his backminner only safe here. But nice attempt by Effort. Good defense. It was just a solid defense from the Protoss as well. And now the Protoss army is moving down to the bottom left once again. There's no hatchery there. There's like a bunch of random units. Effort seems to be kind of overtaxing his multitask, I guess. Like he's doing all these little Ling attacks and not really paying attention to this bottom left. And yeah, it looks like probably actually gonna not be able to take that once again. I wonder if he'll be better off like trying to take the 9 o'clock instead of those bottom left bases. Either way, he needs to take an expansion very quickly here because he's on even bases with the Protoss, and that is not what the Zerg wants to happen. Everyone's actually quite a bit behind in supply as well. 116 against 173, and you know, even though I've been saying he's doing nice Ling attacks that are, you know, quite cost efficient, he is throwing away a lot of Zerglings. And once it gets to the late game where the Protoss has enough cannons and High Templars everywhere, the attacks become increasingly inefficient. Like eventually Effort does need to get some of the big units like Ultras or something to just engage the army straight up. Like you can't only make Lings as good as they are. And Effort, and actually both players have quite a bit of money banked. Shy is like 1500 right now, but he's almost maxed. Effort on the other hand has 1500 and like 1200 gas and is not even close to max. So both players slipping a little bit on the macro. I mean, that's a bit uncharacteristic, actually, especially of Effort. I'm surprised he has so much money. Is he just like saving for Ultralisks or something? I mean, that's like the best excuse all Zergs can have for bad macro. Is just like, oh well, I was just saving for Ultralisks, man. It's fine. But in this case, I think that might actually be a legitimate excuse. I'm not really sure. But we do have a robotic support bait on the way. Gonna go for those Reavers, but no, it looks like Effort gonna go for a big drop in the main. But plenty of Protoss forces are there, and you see, this is such a good idea by Effort. It's just that, like, Effort is doing all like really good moves, but Shy's defense is really great here. Because these kinds of crackling drops in the main are so annoying to deal with as Protoss, because a lot of times like the Protoss will just be running around the map with this giant death ball. And if you get just like, you know, a bunch of cracklings dropped in the main, you have to run all the way back to your main, and they just do damage so fast, they can just like kill all of your gateways before you can get back. But in this case, he had a bunch of units there already. But unfortunately, it looks like because he has split his army, he is losing all the forces he had at the bottom left there. I mean, that is the danger. The Protoss army does work a lot better when it's all together, and it's big Protoss death ball in the late game. But then, you know, you're vulnerable to the counterattacks. So now, since Shy's trying to defend all the counterattack or all the like multi-pronged attacks, his army is much weaker in pieces. And looks like another drop going in for Effort. Effort actually catching up in the supply right now. Just doing a great job with all these drops and attacks all over the place here. I mean, even though Effort looked to be in a bit of trouble just now, behind like, you know, 70 supply or something, he's doing an okay job. And looks like a random plague there. I think tried to catch the Zealots without hitting his own Zerglings, but just got like 2 buildings instead. Not the best plague in the world. And more units coming back to defend the gateways. Looks like Storm going to take that out. In the meantime, oh, looks like he does get it. And Effort, while all this was going on, has managed to establish the bottom left bases. So he's got the bottom left main and the bottom left minor only. So you know, even if these drops into the main didn't actually kill that much, I mean, they killed a couple of buildings, killed a few units here and there. But even if they didn't kill that much, the important thing is that they allowed him, or rather they took the pressure off of his own expansions and allowed those to get up safely, and that's much more important than like losing, you know, a handful of Zerglings in a drop in the main. And for some reason, I don't know, the Protoss army just seems like really scattered or something. Like I'm looking at this Protoss army, and it doesn't seem to be that super like high tech, high cost like Archon, Reaver, Dragoon, High Templar, you know, with a few Zealots in there as well. The army just doesn't seem that impressive. And look at this Effort just with the non-stop crackling drops in the main is actually just going to take out all of the infrastructure here. Shy is now going to have a very difficult time macroing. As you can see, his money is going up to 2k, and that's actually not his fault anymore. That's just because he doesn't have any gateways anymore, and also losing his Templar tech here as well, the crucial Templar tech. He cannot afford to lose that at this point in the game. He needs those Archons to help against the mass crackling. I mean, he has added on more gateways as well. Looks like he's going to go counterattack the bottom left, but look at this, he's sending in a small group of units, and he has to be so careful because that group of units could easily, you know, get surrounded by cracklings. I mean, Effort is just playing a beautiful late game ZVP here. I can't even believe it. I mean, I thought Shy was defending this, you know, really, really well in the mid game, but looks like once it got to the late game, Effort just becomes more and more effective. And, you know, his 3/3 cracklings, actually, he's way out-upgraded the Protoss. The Protoss upgrades are at 3 attack and 1 shield. And, oh my god, the 5/3 cows, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I was waiting for. The mass Ultralisk transition. See, this is what happens. If you only go Lings, you know, and just keep harassing like that, you just build up more and more resources in the bank, and then all of a sudden, you just come out with 20 Ultralisks, and there's absolutely nothing that the Protoss can do right now. Shy has not nearly enough Archons to deal with this. He doesn't have any Reavers. I mean, he has nothing that really kills Ultralisks. He has nothing. I mean, Dragoons are okay against them, but, like, what? Like, what is he going to do now? He's just going to lose his mineral only, and Shy is in a little bit of shock here. I'm in a little bit of shock. I thought he was in a fantastic position, but look at the supplies. A complete turnaround. 180 supply for Effort against 111 supply for Shy. This might just be a buffer into GG right here. Wow, Effort plays an amazing game, and Shy GG's. Effort, what a sick late game ZVP. Look at Shy is in shock. He can't believe it. He doesn't understand how he lost that game. I don't understand either. He's like, did that just happen?